Hi, I'm Mike Antonacci, and I'm here to help you become the hero that God is calling you to be. And in today's video, I'm going to help possibly answer the question, can I sin in order to bring something better out of it? Now, where this came from was I was on campus this past year as a missionary, and a student asked a question. Now, normally when I get questions like this, it's from someone who's not sincere, like they don't actually want to know the answer, but this one, he was sincere. Also, I don't normally like questions of this kind because they're not super relevant. Like, we don't learn morality through, here's this like really hard scenario, let's work through it. Like, you're stranded in a lifeboat and it can only support 4 people and there's 5 people in there, and who's the one you're going to push overboard? And they have like, this really wealthy philanthropist who's also super corrupt, and then there's Mother Teresa, and then it's just like, who do you push overboard? Well, the thing is, we're not ever going to be in that situation, so it's not really super relevant. Instead, a better way to learn morality is start with the everyday cases and then apply it to specific ones. But that being said, I still think this is a question we're thinking about. So the general version of the question is, can I sin in order to bring something good out of it? But the specific question that he asked was, so eventually we constructed a scenario that this sort of thing would come up. So imagine there's this doctor who's medical researcher or surgeon or whatever, but regardless, over the course of her lifetime, she's going to save millions of lives. So it could be that she comes up with a cure for cancer. It could be she creates this amazing new this surgery that other people can then do, and through that saves a bunch of people's lives. Whatever it is, the specifics are not super relevant, but I just wanted it to be a slightly a believable scenario. And this woman, this doctor, discovers that she's pregnant. And so she would not be able to complete the work that she's trying to do. That the millions of lives that she'd be able to save would now not be possible because of this baby she's having. And so the student asked, would it be okay for this woman to have an abortion so that she can fulfill her role as a doctor and save millions of lives through that? Now, that's a very specific question. I always like to make things more broad. One step more general would be to say, well, let's say she has the baby and then later realizes that she's not able to do this thing as a doctor and save millions of lives. Is it permissible to kill her toddler, her 6-year-old, her teenager in order to do that? So that's taking it one step more general. Or, we could insert a different commandment. So instead of the 5th commandment, what if we did, the 8th, where thou shalt not steal? Saying, hey, I'm working at this company and let me embezzle millions of dollars and send it all to charity. Is it okay to do that in order to bring some sort of good? Or let me go into prostitution so that I can donate that money to charity? Or, from the 1st century, and this is ultimately what I brought up in the conversation was, in Roman times, offering incense for the emperor, worshiping the emperor, was just a thing that you did, and a lot of the early Christians got killed for refusing to do so. So let's say you were a 1st century doctor and you were going to be saving lots of lives through that. But if you refused to offer incense to the emperor, you'd get killed for it. So should you do that in order for this other good? Is it okay to violate a commandment in order to bring some sort of good out of it? The answer is no. So in order for an action to be good, you have to meet 3 things. If any one of the 3 is bad, it's bad. I wrote a post on it called Dog Poop Brownies. Some of you may be familiar with that image of if you have these really great brownies, but dog poop is one of the ingredients. No, absolutely not. Not going to eat that. Even if everything is super gourmet. The fact that there's dog poop in there, it's a no-go. So the 3 things, what are they? So one is the act itself. So the consequences are part of it, but also some actions are always morally wrong, no matter what. Rape is one example of that. Murder is another example. There are lots of them. The 10 Commandments are a good guide for those sort of things. Worshipping false idols would be one of those things, offering incense for the emperor. So you can have good intentions, which is the second one. You need good intentions, but it won't make a bad action good. So even if your intention, let's go with the sacrifice to the emperor example, even if your intention is to save a lot of lives by saving your own, the middle finger that you give God by worshiping the emperor instead of God is not made up for by the fact that you had good intentions. So you've got the act itself, you've got your intentions. Now, let's say you had a good act, such as giving money to the poor, but your intentions were bad, such as, hey, you know what? I want people to know that I'm giving money. I want this to be this like big public thing, which Jesus actually talks about in Matthew 6. He says, when you're giving alms, don't be like the hypocrites who blow trumpets in the streets before they do it, so everyone can see, oh, look at that guy, look what he's doing. So two. The third is the situation. So you can have a good act and good intentions, but the situation is bad. So one example of that would be, take a morally neutral act, like, if you're a parent throwing your kids up in the air and catching them. But let's say one of your kids just had surgery, and so it's dangerous to do that. Well, that means the situation is bad. Or another example, let's say you need to fraternally correct someone and say, hey, this thing that you did is actually, this behavior is unacceptable. There might be a bad time to do it if, for example, a family member just died. You might want to hold off on that and wait for another time to do it. So bringing it back to our question is, you can have that desire to do good things, but that's not going to get you off the hook for doing bad things in the process. And in fact, I think what we've seen throughout history is people with good intentions doing really bad stuff and thinking they're helping. On a small scale, it could be, one parent, stereotypically the dad, who's like, I'm going to work a lot of hours in order to provide for my family, thinking that money is the only thing that he needs to provide, but really his presence would be so much more. Or all the way up to, your dictators, whether it's, Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, whoever, saying, I'm doing this for the good of my country or for my good of the world. But really what you're doing is a bad sort of thing. P.S. Be a hero today.